and welcome back to another JagsCast. Given recent results and performances, the team are back playing. It's great to see Thistle back involved again. Well, it was till last, wasn't it? So, and of course the national team are back playing, so that always takes your mind off things. So myself, Donners and Ian Clarkson are back to talk about what's been happening over the last sort of 10 days or so. Guys, Cove one each, possibly could have gone either way. Couldn't be 3-0, looked comfortable. We know the teams are all back playing, and it's probably been quite a good thing that we're all back together. The 4-2 against Airdrie on Saturday, again, there was ups and downs and that. And then last night, the Forfar game. Now, we're not going to actually literally hammer the manager for this, but there's no doubt that everybody involved within the fan base are looking at this last night and asking, rightfully I think, questions about the team selection. The league is our bread and butter. There's no doubt in that. There's nobody that doesn't disagree with that. We have a game against Dundee United on Saturday in the Scottish Cup, which, let's be honest, is a free kick. As I say, the Cove game could have gone either way. The Cowdenbeath game was fairly comfortable. Airdrie was a wee bit up and down. And last night was pretty much at times an unmitigated disaster. He took the spine of the team out. Now, whilst we understand that it is a rotation with the squad and there's players coming back, there was a lot of questions asked last night, and rightfully so, and where we are now as a club going forward. On you go, lads.
Probably the place to start is last night. I mean, for me, I don't get it. I just don't understand his thinking of making so many, right? I'm a big believer of get the game won and then make changes, right? Now, that might not have happened, but I think you start with a strong side, and then if the game allows, then you make changes. I just thought, you're putting, you're dropping a goalie who's playing really well, and to be honest, I think Snedden's due a game occasionally. I thought he might have done it in the Cowdenbeath game, to be honest, but he brought him in and then put a guy who's just signed at centre half in with a young, inexperienced player who, granted, has been playing well, but I thought that was the start of it. I just thought we looked shaky from the start. Obviously, we lost an early goal, which we did against Airdrie, but we recovered against them. But it's for the life of me, I can't understand why he made so many. Donners, you want to?
It's like I think most of the fan base said the same last night. It was so overly critical, and not everyone can be wrong. I did look at it differently. I tried to stay away from commenting last night because I thought it was a bit emotional to talk about it. I thought it was a great game by the way to watch. I thought it was end-to-end stuff. I disagree, actually. I think that when you have a squad of 23, it's not about game to game. I think it's about managing the month. It's about managing. You've heard them so many times talk about the minutes. You've heard them talking about this is new to him. They don't understand that the fitness kind of element side of things. The only criticism I had was dropping Kieran Wright, because he has looked a rock. The save he made on Saturday changed the season almost, didn't it? 2-0. Changing that, but everything else, if you're going to bring in a squad, you've got to involve them. You can't ostracise players and stick to the same man, the same team. Because then you're throwing boys in later on, and then we're having the same kind of performance, and we're saying, look, these guys haven't played in 3 weeks. What are we expecting?
I know, but he's gave himself a problem because he done that. And then what happened with Squiddy? You know what I mean?
But I mean that was mental. I mean that's so 5 subs and you get down to 10 men because somebody gets injured.
But I've not got a complaint about it other than the fact that we wouldn't have had to make 5 substitutions had we started with a stronger lineup. That's my point.
But then again, see, after 20 minutes, I mean, after the first goal, I mean, Penrice, he should have a better job shutting, stopping the cross. But it was a great strike. But I mean, Steddon's got to do better than that. But he knows that. Everyone knows that. He's a good keeper. But I thought the way we responded was excellent. We were chance after chance, and I thought we were fighting for the ball, we're getting forward. But then, the goalie get kicked in the head and we stopped playing. And so the goalie get kicked in the head and we stopped playing. And Senna was getting bullied. Senna was getting bullied with that number 9, and he was getting a bit of bullied on Saturday as well at Airdrie, do you know?
The big boy played Senna well last night. He's a big experience forward. He was backing in all the time, then sticking his arse out and throwing himself on the ground. But that's what experienced players do, you know what I mean? And Senna will get better for that. That's no doubt, you know. But there were so many times when they could have broke away and scored again. For me, we were off it all night. You know, apart from a period about 10-15 minutes, I thought, other than that, we were off it. That was my view of it, you know.
Yeah. In the first half, I thought we were. I thought we were much more creative than we've been. But, I mean, see, to be fair to McCall, I've criticised McCall this season. Look at Cove the first game. Didn't make any subs, if you remember. I mean, you think 5 subs on the bench, didn't he change 1? Do you mean? And we lost the last minute goal, and that's where we're open to criticism. He changed 3 at half time, and it was the right call. It was like putting his hand up and saying this isn't working. So I was happy with that. But you lose the goals 4 at half time. We were up against it in the second half. And listen, it was a good point at the end of the day, looking back on it, because we were lucky.
100%. They deserved to win the game, in my opinion. You know, they were the better side. They were hungrier. They had better chances. But you said you put his hands up. See, to be honest, I'd like to have seen him put his hands up in the interview and saying, do you know what? I think I maybe got that wrong. You know, that wasn't true for me. You know, I think he did get it wrong, and he did try and rectify it half time. And to a degree, it started to work, and then obviously you lose Squiddy and you're down to 10, and then you're really up against it. You've only got 10 men. But
what's the argument? What's the problem, guys? Like we saw this on Saturday. We're 4-1 up, coasting, absolutely coasting, and he makes a whole host of changes. Last night, he took pretty much the spine of the team out that had played from Saturday. Ross Docherty needs game time. There's no argument about that. I don't think any fan would argue with that. But as you see, should that have been 25 minutes off the bench, 25 minutes off the bench, and not starting the game, and actually starting, you know, with a team that actually almost railroaded Airdrie, especially, you know, last 15, 20 minutes of the first half and into the start of the second half, because should have happened last night. The same thing happened on Saturday. Should that have been a warning sign about disruption?
What are you winning the early goal, Raymond? Losing an early goal?
No, I'm talking about just we got ourselves back into the game, for example, against Airdrie. And we were starting to play well, we were creating chances, we came out the second half. And then there was a whole raft of changes. Should that have been a warning sign for that too many changes, especially at the start of a game? You know, when you take your team out.
I just prefer making changes. I always believe you should start with as strong as you can. You know, and I don't think we were as strong as we could be last night. You know, they brought Tiffany in. And I get the thing that you're saying, Donners, about big squad, rotating the guy. Tiffany's a young guy, you know what I mean? They don't want to train, you want to play. Let's just put them on the park. Game an hour. Let's try and win the game and then say, right, okay, let's bring whoever on, you know. And there's very, very few positives for that. Murray played well again. Yeah. And I've been a critic. I'll be honest, I've been a critic of him. I've not seen a lot of him, but the last few games he started to show that he's a player, you know.
He's looked good since we've come back, hasn't he? Do you know, but see if you look at that team, I mean, see, to be fair to McCall, right? I mean, Zach Rudden, right, fair enough, he's not a player that he was with Falkirk that we've seen, you know, a couple of seasons ago. You know, but you know, you're putting him up there. It's like you're expecting something decent for him. You're not thinking you're putting in a backup. You know, Joe Cardle, arguably, certainly our most creative player of the season. You know, arguably the best player we've had in the team in attacking sense all season. You know, Williamson and him have got a great foil. Penrice looks a better left back than he does playing further forward. You know, you probably say the Ross Docherty one. I get, Raymond, right, but. See the one thing about Airdrie, and again in the thing with the previous game, we're wide open middle of park. It's almost as if Bannigan can't play that supportive role for the defence, leaving them wide open. So perhaps he's bringing in Docherty last night, who's more accomplished at that. And he's thinking maybe he can step in there. It's not as demanding, but it didn't work. He looked way off it early doors, you know.
I think Bell's off the pace as well.
He really has. He's been a surprising to me, you know. I've seen him, and remember, he can play in multiple positions as well. You know, he talks a good game when he speaks, and it sounds great when he's really good in training. But you know, for an experienced defender, you
need to actually get fit before you get match fit. You know, I get you need to get minutes, but the difficulty is they'll not be doing much training. So if you're bringing a guy like Bell in, who's maybe he's getting on a bit, and he's not played. Nobody's played much, right? I get that, but trying to get him fit before you get matches under his belt. Docherty's been out for a long time. He's another one. Similar setup. I don't know what the answer to that is, but it just didn't work last night. But I think the fact that you've made so many, see if you'd made 2 changes, you could maybe have accommodated it and worked through it. But it's just the fact that you made so many. That for me, that was the thing. Yeah. But I'm not going to sit here and slate my call all night. You know, it's difficult. You know what I mean? I get that. Under difficult circumstances.
I think going forward, Raymond, I think what he'll do is he'll stick with Foster at left back, and he'll have a solid back 4. And I think he might actually when he's getting Docherty ready, I think he might move Penrice into that sitting midfield role, because he'll defend a bit more than what Bannigan seems to be doing. You know, that's not Bannigan's natural game. We've said that for so long. You know, but I mean, look at that chances for the last 2 games for teams breaking on us. It was embarrassing last night. I mean, look the long balls in. Darren Brownlee, the ball in behind him, it's not his game, is it? It was frightening.
He looked so off the pace with that ball. The boy ran by him, the boy wasn't there, you know.
But again, we're talking about the spine of the team, and both of you have mentioned Zach Rudden. Now, Zach Rudden, by a lot of fans, was almost seen as a missing piece in a jigsaw, for example. Now, let's be honest. Let's get back. I tell you what, we could go back a number of years talking about players with a first touch over the years. All 3 of us have got the experience. I don't think I've ever seen a worse first touch ever than I've seen with Zach Rudden. Now, and I swear to God, and Christy Elliott will not mind me saying this. Because we've had many jokes about this, and both you boys have had jokes with Christy about this. We thought his first. I don't understand how a guy that size can be knocked off the ball so easily and have such a poor touch. Now, again, like we said, we don't want to absolutely rip players. We don't want to hammer the manager, but questions need to be asked. And what is getting done, for example, in training? Why are we looking so, for the squad size, Donners, you mentioned, why are we so far off right now? Because we were told before by the manager, when we came back, they've been training well. We've heard this for a long time now. You know, that we're training well, we're working hard. We're not seeing it on the park. No. Some players look as though they're blowing out their backsides after an hour for a start. Other players, their touch isn't good enough. They're not playing. Some are not playing with their heads up. Now, these are the simple things we were all taught as kids. And any footballer nowadays, even at school level, is taught as a kid. You play with your head up.
Do you know what, Raymond? It's
a real problem.
When you look at Zach Rudden, the only comparison I can think about is Jai Katongo. You know, we seen when he signed him, you thought, oh, we're getting a player here. Do you know, you've seen him do it for other clubs. You think, and he never showed us anything, did he? You know, and it's similar to Rudden just now. But you know, maybe there's hope. But Conor Murray looked like a complete bust. You think, how was he the best player for Queen of South last season? He showed it in the last 3 games. He looks something. And you can see his confidence starting to improve. Maybe that's just a thing for Rudden. Do you know, maybe he needs a goal. You know, just a wee run in the team or something like that.
I think that's a fair comment, but you know, I think Murray, I've said it in a couple of group chats. I really don't see what he brings, but He's not a winger. He's clearly, obviously, better further inside the park. You know,
almost as number 10.
Possibly, aye. I don't know about Rudden. I'm used to. I've not seen anything yet to suggest he's a good signing. But again, he's done it. He's looked a player at Falkirk. So I don't know. Maybe he's just needing a wee break. I don't know. Needing a couple of goals, a wee run. But I'm playing Big Brian in front of him all day long.
Mm-hmm. Does that tell us something then where we are sort of going forward? Because young lad for Motherwell, McKeever, I think that's how it's pronounced. I've seen it a couple of times. I think he actually looks as though he's got something.
Same, man. Yeah.
Not quite sure whether him and Graham works yet. That potentially is something that's, will get worked on in training. I think there's a couple of times where, even in the Hearts game, where I get really excited about him, when he got the ball and making runs. And there was times where I thought the two, him and Brian Graham, were making the same runs, but that can maybe come. But again, I was disappointed to see him last night.
He didn't offer it last night, and the thing is with him, if you're saying Tiffany and Graham and Rudden and him, then he's the fourth, right? He's the fourth, but he's an option, right? And it is, you've got a lot of games, and especially Rudden, he always picks up injuries, niggles, and Graham's the same. So you need to have that in the squad. But I was disappointed to see him start last night. I remember, was it last season? I think it was last season when we went to Tannadice and Rudden and Graham played up front together, and they looked a total handful. For a team that won the title, and I remember seeing him. I think it was the Dunfermline game, and the chance, and I thought, see, if you have a partnership like that and they play a run of games together, they'll score goals, But I'm really worried about Graham on his own. He doesn't look the same. He needs players in about him.
Isolated, but you're playing long balls up to him. He just looks isolated. If he's not winning them, maybe they're coming in and he's holding them up, or he's flicking them on. There's nobody there. We need to get forward quicker to support him.
Yeah.
If you're going to play one up top like that,
Is this the other problem we have then? Is that the midfield and going forward, there's too big a gap?
Raymond, I don't think so. I really think it's we're creating some amount of chances just now. You're looking at Baston since we've come back. It looks like there's been a change in mentality. Because if you think we had a run of games when we only conceded one goal in about 6 games, and now we can't go 2 or 3 minutes without conceding a goal, but creating hundreds of chances. I mean, look at Adrian Saturday. I mean, that was double-digit chances, good chances.
Yeah. I mean, I seen a post on Twitter. One of the Jags boys put up. Can't remember who it was. Who basically was saying that we've went from not being able to lose a goal to not being able to score a goal, to not be able to keep one in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, just get a balance, and we'll be fine. I
think he's trying to do that, and in some kind of way, the way we're playing now, if he had a back three, he's got a bit more security in there, because let's say that he's raw, isn't he? But he needs a wee bit of cover, he needs a wee bit of support, and Williamson won the game, that's for sure. That's not his game. But listen, you can't really knock that boy going forward. Especially the second half yesterday, everything was coming down his side, wasn't it?
Yeah. I thought Cardinal was poor last night. No what he dig any individual, but I don't think he imposed himself in the game last night the way he can.
I think we're at a point now because we've got so many games, sort of getting played, and I think that's what probably, for want of a better phrase, pissed the support off last night. Was, I mean, even before the game, as soon as the team was announced, it was all over social media. Now we know what social media can be like, and blah blah, and we've all sometimes get carried away with the whole thing. But I think it's the first time in a while I've seen a Thistle support United and going, what the hell is he doing? Now,
I'll be honest with you.
Somebody said to me, he's got history with us. And it's true. Why do you need to make that many changes?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I was listening to Sports Sound tonight, which I never very rarely listen to, and it was the girl, what's her name again? The girl pundit that was on, can't even remember her name, but she made a good point talking about the Scotland setup, was where the teams that she remembers, she was asking Willie Miller about it, the teams that she remembers, Scotland teams, there was always, you knew your first 11, and then there was players who come in, and I think we need to get to that point where we've got a first 11, a strong first 11, who, and I know there's loads of games, but they're not training. Guys want to play, they don't care about training. You know, get an 11 and then you've got guys that you bring in. And Donna's fair point, you've got a big squad, you need to play them. But they players are in to get us out of that league. Now, whether they play or no, they're there, that we need to get out of that league. You know what I mean? That's the thing for me.
Yeah, and a experience.
He said so many times, this is new to him, right? This is new to everybody.
Donners, I'm going to stop you. Donners, I'm going to stop you there. It's not new to him. He's been in that league before.
No. I mean,
Donners means the situation with the break and all that.
You look at East Fife this week, right? Played Saturday, played Tuesday, play tomorrow night, play Saturday again, play Tuesday against us. I mean, that's mental, right? That's a new experience for anybody, it's new to McCall. He's got a big squad. He needs to balance him. He needs to please his egos. He's got all this. He's got a dressing room. It's hard. He gets a pass from me just now, right? I don't think we go after him the way he is. There's obviously method in the madness. Do you know what? See, you're playing bottom of the league. See if it was Falkirk and it was a must-win game against the team at the top of the table, a 6-pointer. Play your best 11. I get it, right? But it was team at the bottom of the league. You cannot. It's your chance, isn't it? We blew it. Listen, I need to point to the players.
You never make that many, Donners. No way. You'll never convince that making 6 changes to a winning team's ever a good idea. 2, 3, fair enough. But 6, and it came back to bite us in the arse. Plain and simple.
Well, so we're fourth now. We win it. We win a game in hand. We're up to third. We're in the playoff spot. And McCall's message to all the guys is, listen, you're not getting enough game time. I gave you a chance. You blew it. So we've learned a lesson, hopefully, and we can move forward with it.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is, guys, looking at league, where we were on the we're sitting fourth on the table. If we win our game in hand, right? Where are we, for example, in regards to a Falkirk and a Cove right now? Top 2 teams. And we're not catching either of them right now. I mean, let's not dress this up at the same time without trying to be a downer, but let's be realistic about this. Where are we to the 2 teams?
I don't think you can say we're not catching them at this stage. I don't think you can say that.
Many games have we got left in?
Well,
possibly 9 to go.
No, there's 9 games to go. We've still to play both of them, and we've got a game in hand. I'm not writing the season off. I think everyone, and ourselves included, will drop points again. Montrose have had a bad for them, things like that. They've brought some decent loan players in, and I don't know. It's way too early to write it off. Yeah, and what Donners is saying about the amount of games, that should be when the big squad comes into its own, But again, there's no way I'm making wholesales. I'm starting a core of say 7 or 8 players who are almost going to play every week, and then rotate the rest. Game horses for courses sort of thing. I doubt you'll see Squiddy playing again after that. So
no, that didn't look good, did it?
And that again, it might have been avoidable. I don't know, but has he done a proper? Has he warmed up enough? You would like to think that the sort of player he is, and his other job, being a fitness coach, he would know to be stretched, but might just be one of these things, you know what I mean? But I think that's what you do. You've got 7 or 8 who are starting, and then you use the rest to accommodate and back it up, depending on the game.
I think the other kind of things is with the size of the squad, the full time nature as well. I mean, you're Cove, you're part time. And by the way, see that Mitch Megison? He's the most impressive player I've seen in this league this season. Right?
Well, I was just wondering what you were going to say there, Donners.
That was a fantastic, but he was a real threat, and I couldn't believe they played him, kind of out wide and off the front line against us, because when they subbed the other boy and put him up front, he caused us no end of problems. Look at that goals he scored in his career, and he shows that he could do it if they went at another level. But when they're part time, they've got a lot of travelling, they've got a lot of stuff to do. That's going to catch up with them. They'll drop points. So you think it favours us in Fall Cup. There's no doubt about it.
Well, it should. It should.
Yeah, but I think the other learning lesson last night is you see with Forfar, we're a scalp. I know we laugh at ourselves because we're just Thistle, but I mean they're coming to that ground and it's a nice traditional good ground to play in, big patch grass. It's it's what if you get a lead, you're defending it. It's like it's everyone's fighting for it and do it, and we can't do that. So we need to be solid and we need to get ahead of teams. And that's when we'll start to their tiredness will kick in.
Yeah.
Well, just to get back to what you've said there, Donners, you're right. We are a scalp. We're a big club. Biggish. Let's say biggish club.
A big club in this league.
Yeah, in that league. But it's a big pitch. And if you've got guys coming who are part-time, who are potentially doing more on the pitch, it doesn't say a lot. And I'm playing devil's advocate here, but it doesn't look good from our point of view. But I want to go on to the next point, which is we've got Dundee United in the Cup this Saturday.
Yeah.
Right? 3 o'clock kick-off, which is unusual for a Scottish Cup game. Has the manager perhaps prioritised going back to one of his old clubs, thinking because we were playing bottom of the league last night that we'll give it a good go on Saturday?
I think he has, yeah. I think that's been his thing. But I don't know about going back to an old club. But I think, I think he's thought we could take a scalp here maybe, and he's thought I'll take a gamble against bottom of the league, and it's come back in the arse. That's what I think. I totally agree with that.
Again, I don't think we had any dumplings on that side last night. He's signed the players, he trusts them, he's given them a chance. I think I don't think the team selection isn't about the next fixture. The team selection is about the next few weeks, because all of a sudden you're playing 3 a week. So if somebody plays 3 games in a week and then another 3, you look at what he's done. Like Penrice. So Penrice comes off one game. He's managing everyone's minutes. He's trying to keep it a level peg. And Williamson first came back, he played 60 minutes. Then he plays another 60, then he plays 90. So he's trying to stagger it that way, I think, till the boys get used to it. I think fitness will tell, Raymond, in a couple of weeks. Everyone's just back. So whatever guys have been doing on their own time is entirely up to them. That's their profession. You can't coach that. But he did say they all had a reasonable level of fitness. It's not as if they've had a pre-season. That's where you'd see the difference.
I think the days of having players coming back who've been eating crisps and Mars bars and all that are over. These guys don't do that. I'm surprised if they do it. They would come back reasonably sharp. But Joe Cardle's, some of his times in his 5Ks and 10Ks in the first lockdown were free. But no, these guys are their fitness levels will be decent, as most of them, I would say. But I think that's exactly what's done with it.
The younger boys are fitter. Should we be expecting more? Donners, you mentioned James Penrice, for example. Boy's 22. He doesn't need resting. Ryan Williamson, I would give you, because
I disagree. I think every player, especially
as a name, because you happen to mention him, but we have a general mix of youth and experience. To start resting boys who've probably got legs on, with no disrespect to the experienced boys in the team, if you're resting the younger lads in the squad, then
football players, for me, football players want to play football. They don't want to train. Yeah. And that you just use them to play. They come in. It's difficult if it's difficult to do set pieces, for example, because you've not got the time to stuff like that. But these guys, if they come back with a decent level of fitness, play them in games. For me, I hated training when I played football. I just wanted to play games. The summer when you used to come and you spent half the winter you weren't playing because the pitches were shit. And then you come back the summer and you were playing Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. I loved that. And these guys will love that. You know what I mean?
They will, but you know, like, so the thing is that there's not a player in that squad that couldn't last 90 minutes in a game, right? But it's the sharpness. You need the sharpness. You need somebody that's just on it and makes a big difference. And that's why you have 5 subs just now. I mean, this plays into our hand, but it's just a worry because we've had so much turmoil over the last few years. We're just worried that things are going to, you know, continue. So we're not going to do well against East Fife, and then the following Saturday at Peterhead we're going to drop something. You know, it's, you know, pressure starts to build, and it was in hindsight, I think, you know, he shouldn't have changed as many as he did, but I can see why he's done it.
Well, listen, like,
the Scottish Cups are right. Sorry, Raymond. The Scottish Cups are right off for me. I'm not interested this season.
I'm with you in that.
Absolutely, I would be right up for, especially against Dundee United. You want to try and beat it. This season, I couldn't give 2 damns about it. It's about getting out of this league, however we do it. Plain and simple.
You're right. That is the priority. It's a lot of money in the cup. But listen, let's get to another thing. Dundee United have played week in, week out since the start of the season. We've had almost a 3-month gap, and we're expected to go up there and compete. It's a disgrace, honestly.
Which is why we don't.
For the FFA to do that, it's a total shambles. You know what I mean?
I'm not disagreeing. Well, let's break the game off, Donners. It's a free hit. If you get it, if you beat them, great. If you don't, right, back to league business, get this job done. That for me is plain and simple.
Which for me is what we should have been doing last night. But it leads me to the next question. Where we are just now, we've now had 3 games. Will we get promoted? And where does it leave us if we don't, as a club?
Well, I don't think we'll automatically go up. I don't think we will. I think we'll get the playoff place. I think we'll probably finish 6th. I think.
But will we get promoted?
Well, it's playoffs, in it. Who knows? Yeah. I don't think I've seen some championship games. I think we've all seen some championship games.
Yeah.
And I haven't been impressed, to be honest. I obviously missed the game last night. By all accounts, Raid Rovers were really impressive, but they'll not be involved in the playoffs. You wouldn't think.
No.
Your Mortons or Arbroaths or Alloas or whoever it is.
Well, if you got Morton, just injure their keeper on the first leg because they've only got 1 keeper all season, haven't they?
I will too.
You know, Big McGinty probably scored a hat-trick against us because he couldn't score for us the whole time he was there. Listen, bring on Allo in the playoff final for me, pump them and just get it right up Mulroney. Shafting us all that time. It's tough. You don't want to play it. You want to win a league and just stay up, you know. But listen, who knows, Raymond? Who knows? But where does it leave us? It leaves us because we got a lot of players signed through next season as well. So it's not as if you're starting a scratch. You know, you're writing everything off. You know, we've got fan ownership going to come in later on this year as well. So you want to get out of this league, aim to get out of this league. You would take 3 or 4 seasons of the championship, then they'd be stuck down here for another year, wouldn't you?
Well, that's the reason.
Probably.
We are in a position where if we don't go up through the playoffs, it's still going to be a difficult league to get out of next season. We're full time. We're still going to be the same scalp next season that we are this season. So nothing's going to change in that. You're going to have Queen's Park probably coming up who have thrown a wee bit of money about. They've thrown a wee bit of money. And if you look, we've got 2 assistant managers. I don't know, does anybody else know of any other club that's got 2 assistant managers?
Well, other clubs have got assistant manager and a first team coach and stuff like that, don't they? So they've just given them the same title.
Yeah. But at our level,
no.
I think it tells you a wee bit about where we're at, that you've just mentioned Queen's Park as being a threat to us. You know, it's like, I mean, there's a good chance if we don't go up this season, that let's say for talk's sake, Alloa come down and Arbroath, for example, we could be the only full-time team in that league.
Yeah.
Doesn't it bear thinking about, you know, it's cost-wise, it's going to be horrendous. Financially, it could be, well, it's a disaster if we don't go back up. But I think the way we are at the minute, we have to be realistic and say, we would take a couple, 3-4 seasons in the Championship rather than a season down there, another season. Well, and it's hard to say because it's not that long ago we were in. It's not that long ago we were top 6, but it's like an eternity ago at the moment, you know.
I think my bigger worry is like any more performances like last night. I mean, you've seen the fan base, you know, like Williamson's never a fullback, Penrice. You know, everyone was getting battered left, right, centre, and I'm thinking this isn't going to end well if it keeps going that way. You know, players aren't going to, you know, run the extra mile, win the extra tackle and stuff like that. You know, they're just going to, you know, just turn up. The board are back. I recall again. They gave him. They got him 5 players in. You know, so it's like the same as last January. They backed him last January as well. So he's had what he wanted. You know.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Donners. The fact is, the board have backed McCall in the transfer windows. You know, how long can they keep backing him, and how long? We know the club's okay financially. We know that. We all know that it's actually, you know, the club's okay financially. But how long do you continually back the manager? Because if you look at it, I'm pretty sure his win percentage is the same as the previous incumbent of the seat, who get absolutely hammered, and rightfully at times. How long do you keep going?
He gets a pass for that. You know, the things he says, you know, his history with Thistle, you know, he gets a pass for that, you know. And
but his history doesn't win games, though, Donners.
Aye, but he never fired a fan's favourite. In fact, 2 fans' favourites he got rid of in shocking circumstances. You know, he never came in with an arrogance, and you know, the way he speaks about Thistle, you listen to him talk about Thistle and you admire what he has to say. You know, the problem I would have is he sees at the end of the season, obviously, right? But anyone who says he goes now is mental, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what his contract's like, because you know, the road of employment, you'd have to pay him, and there's no way you're going to pay money to get a manager. That'd be ludicrous. So I wouldn't entertain that discussion just now. I don't think that's right.
You'd not be insane to replace him now. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it was you said, Raymond, that it sort of united the fans last night. It probably did. There was a lot of people who are big McCall fans who were very critical of him last night. And see, to be honest, he deserves a very bit of criticism he got. That doesn't mean I can say I want to replace him. Absolutely not. Replace him. Madness. If he doesn't get us up, you could maybe make the argument, well, you've had a couple of windows where you've been backed and you've no done what you wanted, and then they could maybe look at that. But you can't be in any seriousness say replace him at the moment.
No, right.
I mean, I don't know if you heard him in Sports Sound a few weeks ago talk about McInnes, when McInnes get back, and he was as angry as I've heard any pundit on the radio show talking about what managers are having to deal with COVID, you know, and they've just been basically, there you go and got on with it, you know, and he says it's been dreadful, and the fact that any manager should lose his job, the amount of people that have lost their job since that began is a disgrace, you know, and I see his point actually.
Yeah, so they are, absolutely. It's really difficult. It's been really hard for well, in many different ways, for football people or non-football people, mental health issues, whatever, you know. And yeah, there's no way I'm replacing McCall.
It makes me very uncomfortable when I read stuff like that, because you know, he's better than that. You know, we're just wanting our team to win, and you're just looking for any quick fix you can, and that's the football fan is. I mean, God, I was reading folk tonight. Andy Robertson should never wear a Scotland jersey ever again because of that first half performance. You're like, come on. You know, it's just the way that fans have become these days, Raymond. That's just how it is. You know?
Well, actually,
reminds me of when
Robertson, what a link, Donners. What a link. Because it's just want to talk briefly, we're in international week, as you can see. I think, Ian, if you get your Scotland top on, no. That's unusual. But I just thought it'd be nice just to break it up just for 5 minutes and talk about that. So it's been a huge...
Sorry, can I just interrupt? If I had been out at the pub, I would have probably had my Scotland top on. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I was just going to say, there's been a lot of debate in Scotland, and we're talking a wee bit about this or about what we do and stuff like that, but there's obviously been the huge thing, Tierney and Robertson. Kevin Nisbet, ex-Thistle, made his debut, and also, what a giant that number 5 of the Faroe Islands Matterstad was. He's enormous. I mean, I swear to God, I've never seen a guy that high.
What's as tall as the Australian or the Austrian boy that scored a couple against us last week? What was he, 6'8"?
Oh,
Willem van der Ark.
What a player he looked. But for you guys, just briefly, just for a laugh, Tierney or Robertson?
So what you're saying? You're only being allowed to play one. You're only playing one.
Yeah.
I can't answer that.
I can answer that.
I can't answer that. I don't know.
I'm going for Robertson at left back, and I'm going for Tierney at left centre back. And the reason hold on, it's not really, because Kieran Tierney is the first overlapping centre back I've ever seen. Honestly, that's frightening.
I know, but he never asked you that. I answered it.
Robertson, all I'm asking.
The rules he said. So you need to answer the rules he said.
I'm having Robertson.
Ian?
Probably Tierney, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I think Robertson brings a lot of intangibles as well. I think his leadership skills. I think he's won some big trophies. He gets a lot of clout. He gets a lot of attention, and I think that helps. That helps the kind of, it helps the mentality of a team. Tierney is outstanding, right? Absolutely incredible player. But Robertson for me just now.
I'm 100% finding a way to play the two of them. Yeah. Whether we've done it just yet, I don't know. But there's no way you can not play either of the two of the players.
He's trying to shoehorn the two of them in. I think it's Donna says. We've watched the 3 games there, and Tierney for me is still galloping past Robertson, and even okay, it's the Faroe Islands, but listen, how many times have we tripped up over silly wee teams? Look, listen, it could be us. You could be fucking Irish right now. They can't even beat Luxembourg.
Remember
Germany? You could be Germany. Who could beat Macedonia?
As a long-lasting member of the Tartan Army, do you remember the last time a centre-half had 3 assists in one game? Right, so you've got to keep that boy in at centre-half. In fact, one for you remains. Who do you rather have at left centre-back? Kieran Tierney or Liam Lindsay?
Liam Lindsay.
Bring it on. Many heaters.
Because Tierney's playing at left back.
Exactly.
Listen, at least we managed to get a positive sort of result tonight for the national team, and Kevin Nisbet, another ex-Jag, coming in, and there's been so much conjecture about Kevin, and most of it's no. You still have some Thistle fans going, "Oh, why did we let him go?" We all know the reason. Kevin's been honest about that, and I personally, having got to know Kevin when he was about 16, 17, right through his time at Thistle, absolutely delighted for him, to finally get his senior debut, because I don't think any of us, and Ian, I know you saw a lot of the reserves, boys, and we all knew the talent that he had, and his head went a wee bit, and I think it's fantastic for him. I think it's still a reflection in the club.
Scotty McKenzie used to rave about me all the time, and Big Archie rated him highly. Yeah. And he, as you say, he'll admit he made an arse at Thistle. Yeah. But he's managed to turn it around. I'm delighted for him as well. Really happy for him. Although I did mention on one of my group chats tonight to some of the Thistle boys, I thought he looked like when you turn up at 5-a-side short there's a wee guy about 13 on at the side, and you ask him to play. Thought that's what he looked like. But he'll get better.
Changed.
Think he's claiming that offside goal was his first. He's like, see, I told you.
Did for him actually.
Did you hear Archie get interviewed about him? He was asked the question. I think Jack Henry, Sod, and Kevin, and he spoke quite a lot about Kevin. It almost sounded as if he was almost like a kind of undercover agent for him. Like he helped him out with moves and stuff, and he kept checking in with him, and as if he looked after folk. And I really like that from someone so because you're going to get players that are going to come to you, join you as a club, because of what he's done,
He'll tell you because he was close to Scotty McKenzie as well, and obviously when I was kind of working with the club, and I was close to the players and stuff with the programme, the commentary and everything like that, and both Archie and Shaggy had said the most naturally gifted, laziest that I've ever seen. He had so much talent, even at 17, 18, and then the head kind of went. And I can remember going, on a Monday morning to go and interview the players for the programme or for an upcoming feature. It was generally the programme to start with, when the kids were young. And you'd see him, and he was so quiet, so shy. And then you'd watch him on the pitch just for half an hour. And the boy never missed. And you could see then, and I kind of understood then what Archie and Shaggy were saying about him as a youngster, saying he's got the ability. The sky's the limit for him. He's the most naturally talented striker we've ever seen.
Scotty would say that to me. He's got a great chance. That was it. Yeah. He's got a chance of going far, and good luck to the boy. He's done it. It's just a shame we never got a chance to get a fee for him and a sell-on clause and stuff like that you like to get in a club like us.
I suppose we picked him up for Hibs when Hibs released him as a young boy. So he didn't really come through our academy, like Henry as well. Henry came from Dundee United, wasn't it? So
a bit of development, isn't there?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Even Sod was kind of that way. Raymond, do you remember? Remember, it was an away game in Perth. I think you were commentating at the time, and he started. He looked brilliant that night. And I think a lot of Thistle fans see that and think that's the way he played all the time, and he didn't. And if you remember at the time, we'd one up front and we'd Doolan in the side, and Doolan was just gold.
So he was outstanding, and then never turned up for training the Monday morning.
Aye, right.
Correct.
Probably shouldn't have revealed that one.
He'll be fine. He'll not watch it anyway. And plus the fact he'll have to admit to it because we all know it happened. We've got to be United on Saturday. It's a free kick. Ian, you said it earlier. What do you... and this is naughty, I know this. What's your team on Saturday?
Back three. Three to back Saturday. One up front. Or maybe, do you know what? Maybe does 3-5-2. I think he'll in the middle. He'll have Bannigan, he'll have Gordon. He'll have probably Murray playing off Sunday. I don't know, but I think 3 to back because they'll play two up. They'll play 2 up top with Shankland and who's the other one again?
Sporl.
So it is.
Yeah, but what I mean is, we've got a game on Tuesday night, don't we? Am I right? Is it Tuesday?
He's 5. He's 5 for playing every 2 days between now and then. Excuses next day.
What do you do on Saturday, given what's happened in the last 3-4 days between fixtures? That's what I mean. That's my point. What do you do?
I genuinely couldn't care less. You could send a woman and play them. I don't care. I really don't.
Of which you are a big fan, Ian, of course.
So I take it you're not buying the game then? No?
All of them in Twitter. Never seen them in the flesh, but no, obviously want every Thistle team to win.
Aye. Donners, what you play? Are you thinking more about the league games now, especially after what happened a couple of nights ago.
I think this squad, I think this is why they've done this. They've invested in this for a cup run. I think that's what he's done. So he's gone up there and they believe they can win it. I think they feel they got a shot at it. I think he'll have experienced players in there to try and take chances. I think he'll probably go for maybe Rudden and Graham up front to start with, and involve the squad. I don't think he says, I'm not playing Bannigan because I need him to play on Tuesday night. I need to manage his minutes. I think he plays the first team. Football, I think Ian McCall will know this better than any of us, and I think it'll be reaffirmed to him after last night. Football's about momentum, and we had momentum in the Airdrie game, and I think we want momentum coming out of Tannadice on Saturday. So, if we lose a game 3-2 or 2-1 or something, and we've had a fighting performance, he'll take that and he'll build on it. And I think that's what he's looking for. You got there and you get pumped 4 or 5-0. It's deflating for the players.
We might have had momentum though. We might have had momentum had we won the game last night.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think I said it earlier. I think he was targeting that Saturday, and I think he will play a strong team. Whether he's right to play a strong team, I don't know. But I couldn't care less. There's no replays, is there? I take it there's no replays. Because that would be your first statement.
Don't get Donna started, Dave.
Hang on, you edit that bit, Donna.
See if there's replays. Honestly, if there's replays, we're all going to Hampden Monday morning to see Maxwell, right? And see what you doing.
No, I think having done what they done on Tuesday night, they will play a strong team up there. And then the next game, you want to win your game. So at the end of the day, that's the next game. So we obviously all want to win.
See the cup. Was it 5 subs last Tuesday against Cowdenbeath?
No, I don't believe.
Right.
Was it not?
You can see what's going to happen here. It's going to go the extra time, and we're going to be out of gas with 3 subs.
Always with the positive vibes, Donald. That's my job with the negativity. Playing devil's advocate, obviously. Listen, there's another couple of things I want to say. Andy Young and Simon Donnelly, one of their ex-players, and also Martin Down, Stephen Smith. So they did a big thing last year for charity, but they're starting a new one, which is Rome to Home. They were actually due to go and do the Rome Marathon this year. We just want to give it a wee bit of highlights for cancer research, as we say. So the 4 of them were planning to go over, but obviously couldn't. So what they've decided to do is run the 2,500 kilometres roughly. So they're doing 625 kilometres each. They do have a Just Giving page, which is on Twitter. So if you're following Andy or Sid, you're going to see a lot of that. We've been contacted, we've retweeted as well about that. But if there's anything you can do, whether it's donating or whether you've maybe got something kicking about the house that the guys, doesn't matter what football team you support either, if you're looking at the outside.
Maybe not anything, you don't want to change their socks. Are they serious? You couldn't run a marathon, so you're just going to run 625 kilometres instead. I mean, what? Am I missing something here?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what, I think they would have probably rather flown to Rome, run the marathon, had a few bevies after it. Sid always fought out a bottle of wine.
I think Young would have been bevying before it. You know what? He would. Listen, to be fair, he did 100 kilometres a month, didn't he, when he was back in June? So it's a worthy cause. Fair to
they've done brilliant. Raised a hell of a lot of money as well. So fair play to the place.
We should maybe get him some private medical insurance for his knees when he comes back.
Which one, Sid or Andy?
Sid.
But the lads will be sort of putting that out on Twitter. I know it's already is going out tonight. And Sid, since the 15th of July, that was the last time you said you were coming on. I said I wouldn't publicly shame you, but I've done that on Twitter tonight, and you have said
he's not watching this, Raymond.
We will have Sid. We will have Simon Donnelly on over the next sort of few weeks. He's going to come on and join us as well. Just one other thing before we get back to sort of looking forward again. Greece Sports. I need to get this off my chest, lads. You boys know about Twitter, right? But I had so many DMs about this. So Thistle have released a fantastic, with Neil's, the centenary stuff just looks amazing. I've got to say, the stuff looks really nice. It's quality, it's different. And I went to order a 40 quid polo shirt, 68.95 delivery to Lanzarote. Right? Come on, Grease Sports, get a grip. We shouldn't be having to.
That's what happens you live in the sunshine, mate. I mean, you live in paradise.
You know the thing is, Thomas, you know what annoys me more is, and I would have said, I remember having this conversation with Joma about 3 years ago when I first kind of got involved with the Nomads. There's nearly 1,000 members in the Nomads. How much of the support are you alienating? And why should they be asked to get a mate to post it or bring it? So, Grease Sports, do something about it.
What is the explanation for that, mate? Is there an explanation at all?
Well, I heard the words Brexit, but it's £2 cheaper than it was last summer to get the home top over at the same price. So I that kind of throws the Brexit argument out for me, Now we're...
Did you vote leave?
Are you talking about the tops?
that does seem a bit extreme.
Seriously, who's going to pay 70 quid for a 40 quid polo shirt?
The postman make a living as well, Raymond. Come on.
I mean, you think there's like Tam Kramer, for example, is in New Zealand. We've got Stuart Goldie up in Norway. You've got lads in UAE, Saudi Arabia, Australia, America, and they're getting asked to pay that. And all they want to do is just put a bit of money into the club.
Maybe, I mean, look at the border checks they've got to get done. These things are going to get paid for, do you know what I mean?
Aye, and you're not getting in.
Blame it, Tories.
The vaccine.
I'll bring it out for you. Raymond, free of charge when they open the border.
Free of charge, aye. Free board. Listen, just to finish it up, I know it's been a tough time, and it's been a tough time for everybody. Let's take the football out. It's been really tough for everybody, and we all know if somebody has been suffering a bit with it. It's been mental health, struggling work-wise, financially, and everything like that. Let's try and finish that positive if you're a Thistle fan. On you go, lads.
It's brilliant having the games back, isn't it? It's like something really looking forward to, getting the interviews beforehand, sitting down. It's really good. I'm really enjoying that, And Saturday, Tuesday, you miss the leadership debates as well. You don't have to listen to Douglas Ross screaming about the telly for an hour and a half or something. So it's actually good. It's good to have the football back,
That is a positive. You're getting, at least you're getting the games now. You obviously we'd all rather be in the grunds, but
aye.
I doubt that'll happen this season. Fingers crossed we might get a wee bit of crowds in for the Euros. We've got the Euros to look forward to as well. So, aye. Getting the games back, at least you'll be something to do in your Saturdays.
The Euro, we might have a wee training base for some of them, the clubs that come over. Do you think they might be using Firhill? We got a wee money maker there or not?
I think they might. I think it was used before, wasn't it, Firhill?
Yeah, it has been.
There's been a few teams used it when they've been at Hampden. Man City used it, didn't they? Man City used it when they were in Glasgow.
Right.
Firhill.
And another country used it as well, but that was well documented, wasn't it?
Right.
But let's leave talk of the Ugly Sisters out of it, and what they did. So we've got Saturday to look forward to. I'm particularly looking forward to it because I have one of these boxes over here that is Dundee United telly, so I'm watching it for Sweet FA. I'm now going to probably be actually working out if I've got a table that's big enough to show it for the iPad, video on it.
I think
Facebook.
I think by the time that happened, it'd probably be an hour behind with the feed. Do you know what I mean? So,
don't you worry about us, Raymond. We'll be fine. We'll get a feed. Don't worry about that.
That's all right. I know everybody's going to have a feed this weekend. I was just trying to take the pressure off a certain young man from Cumbernauld who's been doing wonders for the away games.
Talking about the feeds. Talking about the feeds, what about the Airdrie commentators on Saturday? That was brilliant. That boy, he was losing it, wasn't he?
John is a legend.
Was anyone checking his well-being?
What was it like when Brian Graham scored that goal at the end? He was flipping out, wasn't he? I thought he was in the park.
I think it started at about 20 minutes in, the penalty. Or like it was difficult to see because the camera was a wee bit far away, but it's a penalty. We've not got the benefit. He played and he's gone, I've just seen that again, that's a penalty. You're going,
he was bitter.
I just told you, you've not got the benefit of replay. How you say
They kept saying Thistle with this long ball stuff and all that, you know, like, oh, come on, yeah. And then what about if you were a Cove Rangers fan tuning in for the Thistle one, and your team kept getting referred to as Peter Heed for Michael Max? Oh, how embarrassing was that? You will think, Thistle, they're arrogant, they just think they're the wrong team for that, you know.
Leave poor Michael
He's
getting some flack, by the way. It's shocking. The guy's doing his best. Leave him alone.
Yeah, he does, but listen, honestly, he commentates and he's really good at it, but he gives his opinions as well. You're like, listen, let the other boy speak.
As I say, it's a difficult one. Raymond will verify how difficult it is to commentate in a game.
Yeah, it's tough going. And
in fact, what
you should do, I'll give you a laugh. I can remember us playing Kelly, and it was the season Kelly decided to go with the kind of thin blue stripes. White socks, numbers, very faint red. Now, you know the size of Rugby Park, and you know the size of Firhill was a wee bit easier because we're a wee bit closer. Back in the main stand, Rugby Park, and you are literally going, I hope I've got my homework right and they line up, because see if this manager changes the formation he's been using for the last 3 weeks, I'm Donald Ducked in regards to what player's going to be what, because you couldn't even see the numbers in Kelly's shots. I think it was about 2000, I don't know if it's 14, 15, 15, 16. And honestly, you were just like, I really hope I've got this right. It was horrific at times. Motherwell as well. There was one year they came out with a strap or came out with a game and you're going, and again, it was at Fifth Park. So your binoculars away, 2,000 miles from home is the Pretender slang.
And I suppose people on the
pitch, you're going, God, I hope this hasn't changed. And then you're looking at the team and going, well, they might have moved this player and they might have moved that player. How do I line up at that?
Don't have good centre for Bell written off.
I have to say,
sorry, Michael.
Yeah. Although I do remember in the man's defence, it was a game against Dundee in 90, I think it was, and we've been playing Aberdeen the previous. No, was it the other way around? I can't remember. Anyway, it was Simon Murray, right? And I spent the first 10 minutes. In fact, Ian, I think you were in New Zealand. I was up in the Cumbernauld bus, if you remember, and let's not talk about any more about the story about what happened. And I was doing commentary in Aberdeen, and you were in New Zealand, for you know it, listening to the commentary. And how long did it take? 10 minutes it took me, because I kept talking about Simon Murray.
I can't remember that.
I did have my reasons, to be fair, and it was the one and only time it ever happened. But the Cumbernauld boys know about that.
I take it if Pittodrie, they didn't let you take your carry out into the ground then, no?
I didn't
even finish it on the bus.
If I'm quite honest.
What you should do on Saturday, Raymond, you should go back the years. You should use your Arab TV and do your own commentary and stream that on Facebook.
I think my days of commentary now are probably well by.
No, I know. Right, so listen, so much for a 20-minute chat. What time are we on now?
It's 20 minutes. And on that note, lads, it's been good fun, and it's been nice just to play a wee bit of devil's advocate. We're all frustrated about the whole situation, and it's not about getting it, particularly at managers. It's just trying to understand in players' decisions and stuff like that. That's all it is. It is frustration, and we're lucky that we get the chance to be able to do this maybe slightly more articulately than we would do in Twitter and Facebook straight after a game. So it's been good fun, lads. We'll be back. We will be back at the weekend. Donners will probably get this out fairly quickly. So we will be back at the weekend with a very special guest, which will be out early next week as well. But in the meantime, Donners, Ian, thanks so much for taking the time out. Speak to you at the weekend, and guys, let's hope we get a result on Saturday, and we'll speak to you early next week.
Good.
Morning, Jags.
Morning, Jags.